This video I'm going to be reacting to Marriage at First Sight season 12 episode 7 that just aired last night. There's so much to talk about, but if you're not watching the show, I don't know what you're watching on TV. Like, I don't know what you're watching on TV, okay? So this week the honeymoon was over. Before this week episode, that was last 2 weeks, or last 2 weeks, right? Last 2 weeks episode, Chris told Paige that he's expecting a baby from his ex-fiance, and that was the point I thought Paige would walk away, but no, even the other cast members were kind of rooting for her to like walk away, but nobody wants to come out to tell her straight line like that apart from ERIK and Virginia. And Chris kind of got into fights with them, trying to manipulate her and all that. This week episode started off with the honeymoon was over, so the couples, they came back to Atlanta, and the way the show runs is that the show provides them a space, a neutral space where the couples can stay for the couple of weeks while the show air, and then after that, before they decide which home they are going to go. So I really like that about the show, for that neutral space. So that was where this episode started from. So the honeymoon is over and everybody was coming back to Atlanta to their neutral space. But also, before they even move to their neutral space, they will both visit their other half space to see how they live and all that, and kind of get a feel of their vibe and their lifestyle. So that was what this week episode is. And then Pastor Carl kind of visited everybody. So that's just like a roundup, a summary of everything that happened, but in detail. Let's go. So first of all, I'm going to start up with Paige and Chris. Why are we not going to start off with them? They're the most toxic couple on this show. They're the most irritating couple right now on this show. I can't even stand them anymore. So Paige and Chris, so by the end of the honeymoon, they came back to ATL. Paige came back to their neutral home by herself, while Chris said he was going to Chicago. Maybe that's where the baby mama is, maybe not. But words on the streets is saying that Chris, the girl that is pregnant for Chris, is different from Chris' ex-fiance. So I'm not sure how strong that word is, but would eventually find out. But that's what curves on the street are saying, that the girl he got impregnated is different from his ex-fiance. So after a couple of days, Chris came back, and when Chris came back, there was this whole hush-hush. Like, this is why I don't get it. If you choose to be on reality show, it's because you choose to share that part of your life. So why are you being all hush-hush with it? That I don't understand about Chris. Because he's a manipulator, he's a narcissist, and he's a manipulator. So Chris came, and Chris kind of swept Paige into a room and kind of kicked production out of their conversation and kind of killed the mic. But from there, we kind of heard a little bit of pieces of what he was trying to say, like, oh, I'm 100% with you, I don't want to waste your time. Apparently, Paige later came out to tell us, not us actually, like to tell Pastor Carl what Chris said. And Paige said what Chris said in that conversation was he wants to reconcile with his ex-fiance, that they should get a divorce. Pretty much that was the summary of that conversation that Chris did not let us in. But mind you, that was the same thing he did when he wanted to tell her that his ex-fiance was pregnant with his baby. That's how he went to the bathroom while they were on honeymoon. He went to the bathroom, put on the tap so that we can pick up with the mic what he was saying and how he was saying it. After the whole drama he did, that was where Pastor Carl came to see them. And when Pastor Carl came, it was just Paige alone. And Paige, Pastor Carl, like, it's Chris joining us. Paige, like, I know. Like, you don't know nothing, Paige. You don't know nothing. You're just going by the scripture, by the word of God. Like, sometimes God gives us sign for us to run. I said in my other video, like, she should run. Anyway, so by the time Pastor Carl was talking to Paige, Paige kind of told Pastor Carl everything that, at least so far from what we know. They had sex on their wedding night and all that, which we all know. And then even after Chris told her that he was expecting a baby, Chris was still having it with her. This is where I said, this is where she has to, like, she should stop putting all the blame on Chris right now. Like, right now, I just feel these two people, they are so toxic that I can't stand them. She should stop putting the blame on just Chris, because you own your body, so for you to give your body away that way, it's on to you. No matter even if you feel some kind of pressure. To her, she was telling Pastor Carl that she felt pressure, that it looks like she's depriving her husband, and she felt that it would be a form of depriving her husband, so that's why she let it go like that. Girl, you don't know this man from Adam. Whether you're married to him, he's still a stranger to you, and there's still that probability that you guys will not click. So why do it because you feel pressure by him and all that? And then she went on to say Pastor Carl, Chris's own side, where Chris was coming from, that he felt when he had sex with her, he would get a connection with her. And Pastor Carl was not having it. Pastor Carl was like, and did you guys use protection? She was like, no. She was laughing and giggling like, oh, honeymoon baby. And I was like, she's not serious. Everybody is shouting Chris is serious. Chris is the most irresponsible husband of the show, but Paige is the most irresponsible female wife on this show. Like, she's so irresponsible. Like, she's not even owning up to her bullshit that she's up to on this show. The part she plays on this old madness, she's not even owning up to it. So Pastor Carl was like, hell no, like Paige, you should know better and all that. And you could see the shock on Pastor Carl's face when Paige was telling him everything. And then Chris walked up and like, yo, what's up? Like, God, I can't stand that guy though. Hey, what's up, hey, what's the girl? Like, everything was chill, cool. And Pastor Carl was like, yo, what's up? Like, what's happening? What's all this I'm hearing? And Chris was like, you know what? I found out she was pregnant. Can you go like, so, okay, Pastor Carl, now you're like, okay, that means if she's 6 weeks pregnant, meaning during this process of married at first sight, you were still having sex with your ex and all that. And I think he was talking to Paige, and Paige was like, he said it was when our father died, he went to console, and that was where one thing led to another. And Chris was like, I've decided to get a divorce with Paige because I want to reconcile with my baby mama. I said baby mama, with my ex-fiance. Pastor Carl said something like, there was a reason why she's an ex. So right now, because she's expecting the baby, that reason is off the door. Like, think. And then Pastor Carl called him on his BS. Like, Chris was claiming that he wants to be there for his child, and Pastor Carl was like, yeah, you could be there for your child and not be with the person. So don't use the child as an excuse of being with this person. And he was like, yeah, but she's also a good person. And Pastor Carl, do you know that Paige is a good woman? She's a ride or die woman. And all that. You're like, yeah, I give her that, but anyway. After everything, after Pastor Carl finished talking to them, they concluded that, oh, they are going to sign the divorce. They are going to file for a divorce. The next thing, Chris hugged Paige. Like, I don't understand. Is it low self-esteem that is doing Paige here? Or she's really stupid, or she's really desperate? Something's going on here. Or she really has some issues that she really needs to deal with. So Chris hugged her, and Chris whispered something to her ear, and she was giggling and smiling sheepishly. Oh, Jesus, child. And when she was asked what he said, you're making it so hard for me not to fall in love with you. Like, what? And she was like, I thought this divorce would be so smooth, and now he's making it. What are you rethinking? What are you rethinking? And then when they walked down to the parking lot to get away, she was like, I better be leaving her. Like, there was this all mushy, like, and you could tell that for me personally, Chris was just acting it up for the cameras and all that. Like I said before in my first review, I feel Chris knows exactly what he's doing. Chris knew his ex-fiance was pregnant, or somebody was pregnant for him before he came into the show. But I feel he needed it for that, to put his name out there, his face out there. So I feel everybody, including his family, knew what they were getting themselves into. So he was actually really playing the role real right. And for me, for Paige, I don't know whether Paige is really stupid, or she's been paid so much to just sit down and be stupid, or to look desperate like this. One is happening here. I don't like. Before now, at the beginning of the show, I was like sympathetic with her, but right now I really don't, because I feel people only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. So she's allowing Chris to manipulate her, she's allowing Chris to treat her like trash, and she's still there. And that just made me look at her and other way, like maybe she actually like toxic relationship. Because these are things that you will not admit even when you're being interviewed and all that, like you're into toxic relationship. I think she is. When you don't put value on yourself, nobody puts value on you. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, so that was Chris and Paige, and that was all the rubbish that happened. And next week episode, we're going to see the baby mama show. Like, I can't wait for next week episode on Chris and Paige. So next, let's talk about Claire and Ryan. Claire and Ryan is one couple that I'm kind of rooting for, but right now I'm just giving them the side eye. And then I noticed a pattern with Claire and Ryan. Claire is scared to express herself 100% to Ryan. Like, I think she just feels like she'll be judged by Ryan, so she's not really 100% with him. She's just telling him and saying what he needs to hear. And I feel, yes, this is, you guys are still knowing yourself, you guys are new, you guys are still kind of strangers to each other. But I also feel like expressing yourself sometimes makes the other person to know exactly how you feel and know what you will take and what you will not take in that relationship. So when Pastor Carl was talking like, hi, is everything? She was like, oh, fine, fine, fine. Like, oh, fine, fine, fine. And Pastor Carl was asking Ryan like, oh, what's up? Like, what do you think? Do you think you're attracted to your wife? Do you think you can grow to love her? And that was when Ryan was like, love is a strong word. I just feel Ryan is overthinking the word love or the feeling love. You're like, when I have the feeling. And Pastor Carl was like, ciao, man. Pastor Carl was cooling Ryan here. It was like, love is not a feeling. Love is not a feeling, just is an intellectual decision made consciously to fulfill somebody else's legitimate desire. So, or needs. So it's not a feeling. Don't think you will feel some type of way. It's just that conscious decision, like, you know what, I'm going to put this person first, this person's needs, I'm going to try and fulfill this person, considerate about the person. That is love and all that. And it was like, and Claire, I can see that happiness in Claire, like, yeah, tell him. But still, I just feel she's not expressing herself the way she should express herself. That I'm kind of scared about that for her. Then let's move to ERIK and Virginia. ERIK and Virginia, I feel Virginia will come around, but Virginia is thinking that as drinking and a party is not a phase, is who she is. But I'm just like, you're a young girl, you're just 24 or 25. It's a phase. You will grow out of it. You will grow out of it. Even though we have women in their 40s, in their 50s that are still partying hard, from a young age, when you go to, when you have different priorities, those things will drop eventually. But Virginia is like, she's not going to let go of that and all that. That's the thing that bothers her more about this marriage. And like I said in my previous review, if you know you want to be married, then you should be ready to wear the coat of being a married woman. So when Pastor Carl came to visit them, Pastor Carl was talking to them, and Virginia was making the point that ERIK gets angry that she won't call in to say she's going out, she just goes out. And ERIK was like, see, I'm not trying to, and she was like, she feels like he's too controlling and possessive. And ERIK was like, I'm not trying to be controlling or possessive. I just want to know where my wife is, or at least my wife just, I'm not saying you should take permission, just call her like, hey babe, I'm hanging out and all that. And then ERIK, they also talked about she's passing out on her friend's couch, a guy friends that are gay and all that. And she was like, these are people I've known. And ERIK was like, you're my wife now, you're my responsibility. And Pastor Carl just went straight on her like, you know what, I will not, my wife cannot do that. I will not be comfortable for my wife doing such thing. It's my wife, it's my duty for me to protect her. So she can't be in a random place that I feel like she may put herself in a position that is not good for her safety and all that. And Virginia was like, I just feel Virginia does not know what it means to be married. Like, she doesn't know, and I don't think she is really ready for marriage. She wants a companionship, but she is not ready for marriage because she's not ready to make the sacrifices that comes with having a partner. She wants that companionship, she wants that partner, but she's not ready for the commitment that comes with it. And I also feel like Regina has deeper problem. I know I said before that I don't think it's a drinking problem, but I think she has other deeper issues that she's using the drinking to subside. So I feel Regina really needs to talk to somebody, to a professional, to a shrink, to just get herself in the right state, because I also feel if you're not 100% yourself, there's no way you can give somebody even the better version of yourself. So I feel Regina just needs to work on that, because I just think like she's not ready to compromise on anything. Like she still wants to live like she's single. Vincent and Brianna, like I can relate with both parties, because I think I see Vincent and Brianna like almost me and my husband, because me, I'm this, like Vincent said, smart talk. I talk very and sometimes I don't even see why I say wrong. But Vincent is very sensitive. Do you understand? And my husband is a very sensitive person too. Okay, Pastor Carl came to see them and they said they've consummated their marriage and all that. Same thing with Virginia and Eric. Same thing. Claire and Ryan did not say. They said they've gotten very close, but they didn't say. But like Claire said before, like they're not going to discuss their intimacy with the production crew. So I feel like they've consummated their marriage too. Anyway, Vincent and Brianna, so Pastor Carl spoke to them. They seemed very, very cool, and Pastor Carl was like, what do you think will be like? Vincent said, when I snap, because she is very kind of controlling and all that, that when I smack, like I just feel she may tick me off, and when I react and all that, and Pastor Carl like react. You see that thing that Vincent's cousins was telling Brianna, that when he's angry, she just needs to. I feel that is it. Like that, I feel it's very high up there. It's that type of people that gets blown up when they're angry. They bottle a lot of things, but when they blow up, it's something else. So they talked about that. They talked about their future, how they are not ready for kids yet, but eventually they just want to enjoy themselves and travel around the world. And then this incident happened of when they came into their new house to move in, and then what's it called? Vincent opened up the champagne and some poured on the ground, and Brianna, if I say Claire, Brianna was like, oh, this is so Vincent, and Vincent energy just kind of shifts immediately, and Brianna was very smart enough to pick it up, like, oh, she doesn't understand where the energy shifted from and all that. And eventually she asked, so and she was asking Vincent like, what's up, are you okay? And Vincent was like, yeah, I'm okay, that I'm just tired. But you could tell something just tick up and all that. And when they went into the closet, Vincent was like, I don't like you disrespecting me. That was Vincent. He was like, I don't like you disrespecting me. I don't like you disrespecting me. You are smart talking. And she was like, smart talking how? And when they got to the bedroom, she was like, how? Like, for instance, give me an example how. Vincent could not point picked it initially. Vincent was like, I just don't like the way you talk down on me. And she was like, I will not disrespect you intentionally. So you tell me so that I learn how, you tell me so that I know what it is and I try to work on it. And I kind of understand that, because I personally, if you say, oh, Destiny, you always do this thing, give me an example of it. Like, okay, like the other day, that is how. And that's exactly what Brianna was calling for. And Vincent was not finding it funny. Vincent was, I feel he read it wrongly, like that she's trying to be smart about it. But I kind of understand where he is coming from and where she's coming from. Like the way you deliver something, the way you presume something, the way you intended something may be totally different from the way the other person will receive it. And everybody have the right to present it the way they want and receive it the way they want. Everybody has the right to their feelings, but it's for you to communicate that feeling. Just they were having this little argument, and then she was like, I'm not ready to talk about this. Like, I'm done talking about this for now. And they were like, oh, auntie, come. In marriage, you don't, like, some of you guys don't know, I've been married for almost 8 years now. In marriage, you don't choose the time to fight. You say, oh, and I'm all the time the discussion will end. You settle it and you're done with it. Okay. So she's there saying, oh, like I don't want to have this, I don't want to have this conversation now. And then Vincent was like, oh, maybe I should go over to my place. And Vincent left. At least that was where it ended. Vincent left. I'm just like, wow. You must have a place to go to. That's why. Or else, if you guys are stuck in that house and nowhere else to go to, you sort out your shit. For me personally, I feel Vincent, he has the right to his feeling. I'm not even going to dismiss his feeling. He has the right to his feeling. But also, Brianna is who she is for a long time. So you barely just know this person for like 11, 12 days. So the person can just change and try to understand the other person. Even when the other person is that I didn't mean it that way, try to, even though you don't feel that way, try to understand. For me, especially with this type of marriage or scenario, just try to understand. So for me and them, I feel they will still work this out. There's no relationship that don't have their downs and all that. So I feel they will still work things out and talk things out and get to understand themselves better. But lastly, let's talk about Hailey and Jacob. Hailey and Jacob, I told you people from my first review, I said these people, they are so awkward together, and Hailey is trying to be that nice, like she's not saying what she feels or what she thinks, and I don't see that as being good. So Hailey and Jacob, the start of the show, they were already fighting when they were leaving Vegas about Hailey not telling Jacob that she was hanging out, and she left and she told him something else. I think she was hanging out with the girls and she didn't tell Jacob, and Jacob found out, something like that anyway, and Jacob was like, she lied, and she was like, you can't call me a liar and all that. So when they were flying down, Hailey changed a flight seats, so they were not together. So they got back, they had the discussion. When they got to their neutrals, they still had that argument. And Hailey was like, she, like, for someone that don't know her and the person is already like having a conclusion about her, and I'm just like, people are allowed to, like, the way I'll read somebody is different from the way another person will read that same person. So people are allowed to have their opinion about people. I feel that's one of the essence of living. We all have opinions about people and have opinions about different things. So after having that discussion, it got really heated and they slept in 2 separate beds, but they eventually got together and they squashed it. They talked about it and they settled it. But you know that kind of, do you know that type of settlement you settle and it's just like, let's just leave it on the surface, let's just finish this thing we are doing, but we know we are done. That's how both of them, that's how it seems like. So Hailey going to Jacob's house, Hailey didn't find Jacob's 90s theme, 80s theme funny. She didn't like it. So when Pastor Carl came to see them, Hailey voiced out like, you know what, I don't find, like, I just feel it's too much, and I understand her. I feel, I don't know, I don't say they were wrongly matched, but I just feel like both of them, seeing both of their homes, both of them are actually two extreme opposites. And like Pastor Carl said, because you're used to something, that doesn't mean that your wife can change some things about you and you can change some things about yourself too. So I kind of understand, but I don't see Hailey and Jacob working. And Hailey also talked about Jacob concluding that she's a liar, and Jacob also talked about it feels like Hailey, like they should get more, they should have gotten more intimate than this. Like Hailey can't even touch, and Hailey was like, she's not the touchy person. That's like the list of her love language and all that. She's not a touchy, affectionate person, holding person and all that. And I'm just like, let me know down in the comment section if you really like somebody. Don't you like touching the person? Because me, my hands will be all over you. That's for me. And I just feel like if you're really into somebody, even though you're not like the PDA kind of person, but you still want to have that contact, body contact with the person. Am I wrong or right? Let me know down in the comment section. So anyway, so that was like the summary of everything that happened on this week's episode. I hope this video is not too long, but that's the summary of everything that happened. And I'm really curious to see next week on Paige. Like, I'm done with Paige. So that's about it for this show, and I'll see you guys next week on Married at First Sight review. But I still have other videos this week coming up, so you want to subscribe. So I'll see you guys later. Bye. Mwah.